Hari Om. Hope and pray all of you are doing well. In the past few nuggets of wisdom, I've been talking about sadhana, and somebody met me. They asked a very particular question, and that brought about a necessity to start researching in finding a quotation from Pujya Gurudev that will directly answer that particular question. So let me state what that question was. So the question was, I am, I know, lethargic. I have a lot of comparisons. I feel jealous. I have, basically, there are lots of negative traits within myself. I recognize it, but I'm looking for a solution wherein maybe I will do these sadhanas, and through these sadhanas I will find a dramatic change. Thus thereby I'll be a changed personality. Is that possible? Shouldn't it be possible? So that set me up thinking that it sounds logical question, that if I perform the sadhana well, then there should be changes. But then there is a caveat. I may drag myself, push myself to do sadhana, but if the engine itself is firstly to be repaired, and without that engine being put in a good tuned manner, will I be able to travel? It will be hazardous to oneself as well as for the people around. It will be of a sorts of pain because the vehicle is not ready. Similarly, before we can think of being a seeker, being in the path of the adhyatmikata, I need to commit myself for reforming myself. A reformed, well tuned seeker will definitely understand the sadhana, and the application of the sadhana will ensure that the pointer which is given is not only reached, experienced, and subjectively bask in that which is being pointed at. So they see, Ramakrishna Paramhansa says it in a very simplistic, very straightforward manner. He says that before you think of realization of the highest, first change from a negative or a bad personality into a good positive personality. Then it adds motors to the engine, to the boat of sadhana, and flawlessly you will be able to move forward. So what Puja Gurudev says is so beautiful, we cannot do away with the shortcomings in our personality without the following factors: the world, our body, the scriptures, and Guru Maharaj. Now, why is the world required? To make, firstly, the change in personality from negative to positive is a must in order to walk the path of spirituality. In the Upanishads, when the student goes to the master, Adi hi Bhagavo, let me learn from you, O Guru Maharaj, the Brahma Tattva. The teacher says, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogad Avaihi. First, inculcate these positive aspects in yourself. In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, there are 20 qualities that have been enumerated. Pick one of it, make that the ambition of your personality, and reform the personality. The person who has reformed their own personality has an inherent stability, and that stability is required to walk on the path of spirituality. It's not the other way around, that I start walking the path of spirituality and then there is a rehabilitation. So that first point is given, that the reformed personality is required to walk on the path of spirituality. Then how does one reform that? Because those shortcomings have to be fixed. Then I need the world, my own body, and the scriptures under the able guidance of Guru Maharaj. Now the world is required because that is the field of experience, that which my prarabdha unfolds and brings it to me as an experience. We may not like it, we may not want it, we may not desire to be in those situations, but we are plugged in exactly in that particular environment so as to, one, face my own prarabdha and grow out of it. Second, the rough edges of my personality can be smoothened out by facing them square and clean, facing those external experiences square and clean, that which is unfolding as my prarabdha. The more efficient way that I can face it, and they say that the world of things, world of beings, world of situations, how I experience them. Supposing Satya or Ahimsa, there are so many qualities. I need to understand it, digest it, the concept of it. After having understood and digested it, then I need to go to the world, put it out to experiment, and with that experiment I get to know where exactly is it applicable, not applicable, where exactly has it been successful, not successful, why has it been successful, why has it not been successful, and then I bring it back to my own manana for refining it further to such a point that that which I am practicing as a value becomes a virtue. What is the difference between value and a virtue? Value is that which is understood, respected, but seldom practiced. When I put it into practice and it reflects to the word and to the depth of its meaning, then we recognize such person as a virtuous person. And in order to experiment with it, I need the world as to how I face the world. Say in sports, there is so much of rigorous practice that is required to become a Nadal or Rafa Nadal or Pete Sampras or these stalwarts, they spend enough number of hours practicing the stroke. When you see these stalwarts playing, it almost feels like they are dancing. It's an art. They have practiced with such rigor that it appears as though art. Very artistically playing it. And it shows the rigors of their practice. Music is the same thing. Riyaz, abhyas. Morning you wake up and practice on those nuanced gamakas and practice it in such a way that even casually it should be the way to express. I am told MS Subbalakshmi ji's, say, her initial LP records, the discs that used to come, compare it with CDs at the later part of her life which were produced, where the same song has been sung both ways, in the olden times as well as in the newer versions. You would find, it seems, I have only heard it from very experienced professional singers when they talk about Subbalakshmi Amma. They say that the old records and the newer versions of it, when they were released, they were like an exact ditto match. And they are in awe. The kind of practice that she used to put, that once learnt, it is flawless in its understanding, delivery, and the experience of it. That however many times you repeat it, it would come in that flawless manner. Similarly, for this value to become a virtue, the world becomes the platform for our experiment. The second aspect of it is this sharira, which is the means of attainment of dharma or a dharmic way of life. It has to be in its optimal best. Ahara vihara has to be disciplined in its approach. I cannot be reckless in the way I eat, or the timings I eat, or what I eat. They have to be maintained of its sattvic nature, as said, as prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. Yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitanchayat uchchishtam apichamedyam. That is the tamasic way of food. So the tamasic way of food, where it should not be beyond certain hours after cooking, it should not be eaten in leftovers, it should not be once you taste and bite into it, leftovers of that kind. So the food, then how do I manage my time so that the body gets enough nourishment, enough exercise, enough movement. And it's not for just appearing hot and appealing. It is that the sharira should be able to perform its duties flawlessly without failing, however tiring it is, to stay focused. Where until I finish that particular job, you may want to choose the most intelligent way of doing it. But until that karya siddhi is done, no backing off. And to that, the body should be ready, able, and in its prime condition constantly. Because that is the only means with which I interact. Now, what are these rajasic, tamasic, and tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic parameters? There the scriptures come in handy. 14th chapter to the 17th chapter, where Gunatraya Vibhaga is being done, and from our convictions to our emotions to our actions. All aspects of these three are analyzed in the context of classifying what is Rajasic, what is Tamasic, and what is Sattvic. And our aim is to transform ourselves from Tamasic to Rajasic, Rajasic to Sattvic. See, the word guna also means a rope. So you have to, as a seeker, as trying to change one's personality from bad to good, one has to learn the tricks of the rope. Rope is also something which binds us. Gunas also bind us. We are bound more intrinsically in the tamasic state, less intrinsically in the sattvic state, in the rajasic state. In the sattvic state, it is easier to undo those knots of the guna and transcend the gunas. So the transformation of a personality is a must, and the world of experiences, that when I interact with the world, it becomes a testing ground for me, and a full able body constantly looking at being able to focus that the body does not draw the attention out or becomes the problem in itself. So therefore our body becomes an essential tool, that I am not the body, but I am someone who is using the body to reach to the highest. And the scriptures give me the guidelines as to how to apply this. And Guru Maharaj, needless to say, a thankless job, where they do not have a responsibility as such realized masters do not have those responsibilities, but out of compassion they feel compelled to step in, help the seeker, because not long ago that one who is the Guru Maharaj himself or herself was in that situation where they knew exactly where it hurt. Therefore they can understand the pain of the seeker and step out of their pleasant state of existence so that they can help the seeker. And to that compassionate feet of the Guru Maharaj, as a seeker we will always be indebted, because they are specifically showing a tailor-made path for each one of us. So in this understanding, let me just recap the whole thing. In order to attain the highest as laid down by our Sanatana Dharma way of thinking, we need a transformation of personality from tamasic to rajasic to the sattvic, so that we can transcend the gunas. Therefore, refinement of personality has to happen, and it cannot happen without the world through which I smoothen out the roughen edges of my own personality. The body to be in its prime condition so that it can be applicable, the body can be used in with a right mode where constantly it is infused with enthusiasm. Scriptures give us the guidelines and Guru Maharaj tailors it for ourselves. So with these four factors we can surely grow out of our shortcomings. Hopefully we have the courage to commit to it, to bring that change. We must bring that change to experience a better me and a better world, and of course the highest. Until the next time, take care. Hari Om.